Okay, so moving on to
Moving on.
families
Yeah.
and talking about childhood. We have an in-person retreat coming up in December. It's in England. It's a 2.5 day retreat with Chip and I, and it's part of a program that we're doing. That's it's a different program. It's called Overcoming Childhood Issues, and it's a program that really goes into this deeper work that many of us, in fact, I don't think anybody doesn't have to do it, where we begin to kind of understand our childhoods and how they impacted us, and how we can begin to change some of the messaging and some of the programming that we've got from childhood. Why is this so important, do you think, Chip?
Well, to me, I mean, I think the very foundation of the therapeutic approach and work that I do is at looking at that first 15 years. I think to me,
Yeah.
what happens during that first 15 years is what determines your personality. I mean, obviously, beyond 15, you acquire cognitive skills, you learn things at colleges, and you acquire more knowledge and experience. But what happens to you in that first 15 years, how you're treated, how you are talked to, what things you get engaged in, what happens to you physically, all those things happen in the first 15 years. They are what determine how you are. And what we're going to be trying to do is really explore those first 15 years, particularly unravel them, find out what we can learn from them, find out how they've influenced our character today, find out which bits we want to keep, find out, for some people, punctuality might have been something that you kept in childhood, it was insisted on, and you've decided to keep it because it's a good asset and things like that. But what we want to do is to go through the childhood, look at what it's left, how you are, and look at which bits you want to work on, which bits you want to let go of, which bits you feel are going to be more difficult than others. But we're really going to explore what I believe to be the absolute building block of your personality, which is the first 15 years. And if we can come to grips with that, learn the truth about that, then you are going to be so much better able to understand yourself and how you interact with people and how you think and how you do things and why you choose relationships in a certain way. All that will be unraveled by exploring that overcoming childhood stuff.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I avoided doing it for a while. Excuse me, my voice is going. But what was so crucial about it, and this is why this work is so vital, is your childhood patterns will show up in your romantic relationships, and there's no avoiding that, right?
None at all.
No,
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 no.
that is the link
Yep.
between the past and the present. Because people, I've had clients say to me, "Oh, I don't want to go raking up the past," and I'm like, "Mate, the past shows up in every
Yeah,
single day. That's
exactly.
the reason that your relationship with your partner is the way it is. It's
Yeah.
because of those beliefs that you formed when you were a child, but and it was what was role modeled to you when you were a child, and all of that stuff, right?"
Everything is there. Everything is in that period of time. And I mean, I do understand how, for many people, and I would include myself in that, it was something I was reluctant to look at because it was painful and it was uncomfortable and it didn't make me feel good. And so my initial reaction was, "Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to look there." And it's a very easy kind of avoidant technique to say, "What's the point? It's over and done with. What's the point of going back there? What's the point of
Yeah,
going
yeah.
over
What
all
can
that
you
again?
can't
There's no
change it.
what you
Can't
can't
change
change.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't change it. Of course, you can't change what historically happened to you, but you can absolutely change how that history influenced you, how it made you as a person." And you can, without doubt, learn and adapt that behavior to make those things that perhaps held you back or were difficult for you. You can make them not disappear completely, but you can certainly learn to understand them so clearly that you can spot your behavior when you can just learn so much about yourself. And
Yeah.
in the that's exactly what we'll be doing, and I'm guarantee that those people who really take a good, honest look at their childhood issues will come away at the end of that course so much better equipped with themselves and how they interact, as you say, with partners as well, because, how we pick our partners are, to a certain extent, on how our mother or father was with
Yeah.
us, and
Yeah.
that will have an influence. And just
Yeah.
learning how all those things are put together will be uncomfortable for sure. There's no point in saying this is going to be a great fun ride. It's going to be challenging at times, but I know it's a simple saying, but no pain, no gain. And I'm not saying it's going to be super painful either, but there will be times when people find certain aspects more painful than others.
But I think
But
I think avoiding it is actually avoiding this
absolutely.
stuff and not doing this work is far worse. It's
Far
far, far,
worse.
far
Yeah,
worse.
yeah, far worse, and actually quite, important in, alcohol dependency, that as a one of the factors that really kind of, makes somebody develop alcohol dependency as a way of avoiding that pain. And that's, you often get that. You get somebody who goes, my past didn't have anything to do with it. I happen to be a heavy drinker, but that's got absolutely nothing to do with my past. And of course it does. And hopefully, anybody who engages in this course throws himself into it. As I said, I feel pretty sure we can guarantee that they will come out of it so much better equipped than before.
So here's what's crucial for me is we can't change the past, unfortunately, and there's lots of things that in a perfect world should never have happened to children. But so many people have grown up with adverse experiences. But what we can do is we can change how we feel about what happened in the past. And this is the crucial bit. We can change the meaning that we gave those events. And
Yep.
that's the kind of nuts and bolts of this is the adverse experience is that many people went through in childhood. We gave that meaning, as
Yep.
in that means this. And generally what we do is we create a story that happened because of something to do with me. That whatever it was, that dad left or whatever happened because I wasn't good enough, or if I was a better kid, there was something about me
Mhm.
that is the reason that happened, and that's the bit that is not true.
Yeah, and you do see that show up so often with parents who've split up when somebody's, say, 4 or 5. And at
Yeah,
4 or 5, you don't have the cognitive ability to go, "Oh, well, okay, mum and dad have, not getting along very well, and they're disagreeing about politics, and they're disagreeing about financial matters, and therefore they're not getting along very well, so I'm not really surprised that they're splitting up, because, they're obviously, arguing about this quite often." At 4 or 5, you think, "This is my fault." And, there's a reason. This must be something I'm doing that's causing them. And the reason that one of them or both of them have left is because I'm to blame. I'm not unlovable or whatever it is, but we can impose a story on ourselves that doesn't have anything to do with the facts. And it's so important to separate those things. And obviously that is something that to me is at the very core of all the work I do therapeutically is, what was that childhood like?
yeah.
And do you want to try and overcome the issues that result from that are absolutely influencing how you are with people, how you interact in business, maybe how you interact in public. Are you shy? Are you overconfident just to kind of cover up an inadequacy? There's so much stuff there that's going to be, for some people, it will be really eye-openingly revelationary. And I
Oh,
think,
it's life changing. I wouldn't
yeah,
have the life I had now if I hadn't have understood
com-
this stuff and
yeah,
changed it and realized that I'd created all this like it's revolutionary. It's life
yeah,
changing. And
yeah.
to not do it is the worst way.
Yeah. No, I had a belief system about myself which was entirely had been laid down in the first 15 years, well, earlier than that. Um, 50, first whatever years of my life, young years really. And it absolutely was the bedrock of my belief system about myself. And I can remember when I was in rehab and somebody said, "Well, that wasn't your fault." And I was like, "Really?
Yeah.
Really?" And they went, "No, of course it wasn't your fault. You were 5. How could you possibly have
You were the
influenced that?"
child.
Yeah, but it was the first time anybody had ever said, "There is a different way of looking at this, you know. You could look at this as not being your fault, and you could look at this," and that suddenly started changing things a great deal. And, you know, we will, if necessary, cover childhood sexual abuse, of which certainly people with alcohol dependency there is an awful lot of. The last sort of not analysis, study I saw that 75% plus of people with alcohol dependency have had some kind of childhood sexual abuse, and
Yeah.
that's again, I think, one of the reasons a lot of people don't want to go back over the past because it'll be painful and I'll have to relive that. But again, that was an area that we will cover, and we'll do it in a very safe way. And thankfully, somebody did it with me in a very safe way. But my God, that was absolutely took such a weight off my shoulders from,
Yeah.
thinking of myself in a certain way because nobody had talked to me about it. I had nobody to talk to about it. And I had developed this belief system about myself because of that, and it had no basis in truth whatsoever. And I think doing that work has just so much was changed, I always find it really exciting seeing people join those things together and make the connections, and then they've got a choice about what they want to do about them. Some
Yeah.
people may choose to stay as they are. That's their right to do that. But some people may want to say, "Do you know what? I'm going to let go of all that. I'm going to hang on to that bit and that bit. Quite like that bit, but I'm going to let go of all that, and I'm going to look at how it affects me today, and I'm going to make sure I don't keep on repeating those patterns." And also for parents, making sure that those patterns don't get passed down generation to generation.